What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first video in the series, So You Want to Be a Powerlifter. First things first, we're going to talk about federations. So you might be asking yourself, what the hell is a federation? A federation is a governing body. They're going to control all the lifting. They're going to have their own rules. They're going to have their own standards for, say, squat depth and things like that. And they're going to hold their own records within the federation. So you can break a record in this federation, and it's not necessarily a world record in this federation. The first one we're going to talk about is the IPF, or International Powerlifting Federation, which is where I compete and a lot of my contemporaries do as well. So the IPF, or International Powerlifting Federation, is a huge federation. There are over 100 countries involved. There are thousands and thousands of members. It's been around since the early 70s in its formal state. And we've actually received a little bit of recognition by being included in the World Games, which is a multi-sport event that happens every 4 years. Now, the IPF is split up into different divisions within itself. So at the very top of the tree, you have the IPF, and that branches off into smaller international divisions. So you have divisions like the North American Powerlifting Federation and the Commonwealth Powerlifting Federation. From there, it splits up into each country's federation. So in Canada, we have the CPU, or Canadian Powerlifting Union. In the USA, or America, you have the USAPL, which is the IPF division there. And then in Canada, at least, it splits even into provincial divisions. So we have the Alberta Powerlifting Federation, we have the BCPA, we have the SPA, etc., etc. You get the picture. The IPF is a drug-tested federation, and it consists of both classic, which is belt, knee sleeves, wrist wraps, and single ply equipped lifting, which is your deadlift suit, squat suit, bench shirt, and knee wraps. We'll go over all that stuff down the road though. The IPF is also known for its tough judging. Start! Press! Rack! The next federation we're going to talk a little bit about is 100% Raw. Now, this is a relatively new federation. I believe it's mostly prevalent in Canada and the United States from what I've seen, but there are some sort of Central American countries now becoming involved. 100% Raw is drug tested. It's not WADA compliant, so it doesn't use the World Anti-Doping Agency, which is the IPF standard for testing, but it's kind of cool because of that. They're allowed to do more tests because it costs less. It's just not the same standard of testing. Some would argue that's not necessarily an important distinction, but the IPF is all about their red tape and trying to get into the Olympics, so that's why we use that testing protocol. Raw and 100% Raw means no thing on your knees. It means no knee sleeves, no knee wraps, no ace bandages, no nothing. They do allow the use of belts and wrist wraps, but nothing on your knees. 100% Raw uses a combination squat and bench rack, much like the IPF. I didn't mention that earlier, but they use an ER rack like the ones you might be able to see behind me there, and like you've seen me use in all my other videos. 100% Raw also does some cool stuff in that they've included other lifts beyond the squat, bench press, and deadlift. Some powerlifting purists might say that's heresy and anarchy, but I think it's kind of cool. You can go to a meet and get your strict curl on and see who can strict curl the most weight, maybe hold a world record in the strict curl competition. So the last sort of group of federations we're going to talk about, because there's a whole lot of federations out there, I just kind of wanted to make three major distinctions. The last one we're going to talk about is going to be your GPC, SPF, WRPF, etc. A lot of these federations operate similarly, and that's why I'm grouping them all together. These are going to be the federations that are generally not drug tested. They generally use monolifts and squat bars and deadlift bars. They also use knee wraps in their raw and knee sleeves in their raw, some of them. They'll use both and make a distinction between, I think, classic and raw. One being knee sleeves, one being knee wraps. Again, we'll get into that stuff later. They'll also be the federations that allow multiply lifting in their federation. So multiply equipment, we'll be going over this a little bit later, but essentially it's just multiple layers. So you'll wear briefs underneath your squat suit or briefs underneath your deadlift suit, and their bench shirts are made out of a couple of plies of material. Again, we'll talk about that later. Another big distinction is most of these federations are going to use what's called a monolift for squatting, and this allows the lifter to simply unrack by standing up and not having to walk the weight out. Again, there's going to be a lot of powerlifting purists that are like, well, if you didn't walk it out, the squat didn't happen. But to each his own.
Back, 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 back.
So that wraps up federations. If you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments below. This is the entire purpose of this whole thing is education. We want you guys to learn as much as you possibly can. If we glossed over anything, if you have more in-depth comments or questions about anything, let us know below. And if you want to hang on for the ride, there's a lot more videos coming, one each week in this So You Want to Be a Powerlifter series. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.